Yes, ma'am. Let's get it.
Blue Water Climate Control. From heating and AC installation and repair, commercial or residential, when you choose Blue Water Climate Control, we offer solutions, not a sales pitch. Blue Water Climate Control. Veteran owned, superior service.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Buck and 2MC show with your very own Alexis Hornbuckle and Maria Cornelius, aka 2MC. Say what's up to the people.
What's up to the people?
And we would also like to thank the rest of our sponsors. Alexis Hornbuckle Basketball, where you can get all of your training needs. Go to alexishornbuckle.com. I'm stuttering because I'm like not wanting, I don't know what I want to say. But right now I am taking new personal clients for one-on-one lessons. You can buy them single, 5-pack, or a 10-pack. I tell people, if you're not willing to be in the gym at least twice a week, don't buy a pack. I la carte that. Also, we have the gold standard. Maria, you gonna get my back on this?
Yeah, gold standard. There we go. I'll put them back up. I was trying to find the
individuals. I got you. The gold standard.
You got it. All right. Thank you.
Yes, with former LVFL Jamel Johnson, aka Jay, aka Boog, who was also a guest, a co-host with me Monday nights at 7 on the Volunteer Roadshow. And we have our guy Nelson Garcia from Florida, just past it tutoring, learning made simple. This is where you can get all the help that you possibly need on math K through 12, including PSAT, SAT, and ACT prep. And you know we got to give a big shout out to Terry Holder, Orange Mountain Designs, your Lady Ball source since 2008, since the last championship. You hear me? Go to orangemountaindesigns.com where you can get all of your official Lady Ball gear. So big shout out to our sponsors. Thank you for allowing us to do this. And Maria, you got it.
Hello. People are already coming in. Well, you do that sponsor thing so well. I am just, that's just amazing. Alex Carter is stuck in traffic. He's en route from Memphis to home. So he called me a little while ago and said, can you please get this thing started? So if I hit the wrong caption or the wrong something, or it's operator error, meaning me. So don't blame Alex Carter.
It's not you, it's us. Today.
Credence is here. He is always with us. Renee is here. Denise from Indiana. Deb Bradley. Jessica Gwynn. Credence Wood. Should have said last name's Deb Bradley. Denise Tague. Renee Sweeter. Suitor. She's Sweeter. We'll call her Sweeter. I think it's Suitor.
I like Sweeter. I think it's Suitor, but I like Sweeter.
All right. We're going to call her Sweet Thing.
Sweet Thing.
So, wanted to say hi to you guys. I know some people will come in late and we'll catch them up. Let's start out since you are not in the car. I am so grateful you are not in a moving vehicle. Because, things are, media access in the summer. NCAA doesn't allow media to cover any kind of practices, events. However, there are special people who are allowed access to see things going on in the summer. So, Alexis, you're a Lady Ball for life. I understand you've been able to be around things a little bit this while you're back home in Knoxville. So give us some intel, some insight on what the team is up to and how they look.
Well, what they're up to is pure excitement of being able to get back on the court and being able to practice and start to build that chemistry. Coach Harper is optimistic about the upcoming season. What I saw at practice, it was like one of the first few workouts for real, that they've been allowed to do this summer. And you could tell they looked rusty, but they were going hard, communicating. But it was just a lot of, just minor mistakes, touches, layups, passes. That comes with just getting back in the rhythm of moving at a certain pace and being able to get back out there. I mean, obviously we have some old faces, but we still have quite a few new faces and people assuming new roles. So that's going to take a while to build. I'm happy that I'm able to kind of watch it and see it and give the opportunity for those who may want to do a little extra training or talk or, ask questions. I'm just happy to be close enough to be a part of that because, it comes down to mentorship. I love it. The cat is almost on your head.
Yeah, she's like, she heard there was a rebound up there. She crashed in the glass, man.
Crashing the glass. I love it.
That is fantastic news. And yeah, I tell people this is June. You know what a practice looks like versus these court workouts in the summer. No comparison whatsoever.
Yeah, none. Even though it was a full team workout, it's just you're just getting back. I mean, the season was so choppy last year. The mental weight that was put on these young ladies and young athletes across the world during that period, and now you're getting free. Now you're finding that rhythm. Now you get to all be on the court versus trying to do only individual workouts. So I'm optimistic also about what July is going to look like, August, and of course, when school starts back up, that actual preseason. So I'm excited.
Denise pointed out Candace Parker made the WNBA All-Star team. That was that was released today. She's a 6-time All-Star, and of course, my reaction was just 6. I mean, I know she had some injuries at some time. So,
how many times do guys with injuries still make All-Star teams?
I know.
I can't even accept that. I understand it, but I can't accept it.
And Nneka Ogwumike not being on the Olympic team. I think we talked about that last week when you that just that doesn't sit well with people at all. Did you have any reaction to Nneka? I know you know Nneka. I mean, y'all know each other. Did you have any reaction to that?
Man, listen, it's so political, and that's all I'm gonna really say, because I think that's what it comes down to. It obviously didn't come down to talent, and then someone who plays a major role in everything that's been going on and happening, and all the forward motion in today's WNBA and female athlete world. I don't see how you do that. But then again, I'm not picking the teams. I'm not the one being paid. I'm not the one having whispers in their ears and whatnot. But I would definitely say, if you're asking me, I don't see how she's not.
I agree. Denise pointed out that usually in Olympic years, there's not an all-star game. And this year, I guess it's a little unusual in how the schedule lines up, but they're going to play the Olympic team. The all-stars are going to play the U.S. Olympic team. And I mean, I'll be honest, there's a part of me that wants those all-stars to beat, and I want the USA team to win in Japan. Absolutely. Team USA. But I'd love to see those all-stars take that win. But nobody plays defense in an all-star game, so I'm not sure how it's going to go.
This might be a pride thing. This all-star game and USA game might be a pride thing. You might see players come out and really try to say, are you serious, and make their point. That's what I'm waiting for, because if it's like that, Maria, oh my gosh, the game's going to be extremely hype, excited. I'll probably be standing up yelling at the TV.
Sven said, quick hello to you ladies and Bobby before I watch Game 3 of the College World Series with my Mississippi State Bulldogs. Since Mississippi State is playing Vandy, I'm pretty comfortable saying everybody here is saying go Dogs at this point.
Yes. I can do that for you.
Yeah, there's nobody here who's going to be pulling for Vandy. We had a couple people they've asked me this too about updates on Marta Suarez and Kean Green. My understanding, I mean, Marta is made a trip home. She's been able to go to Spain, so she's overseas right now. And I know Kean is off crutches. She's posted some stuff, but she's very limited. She's probably not jumping, running. She is just not that far out from ACL surgery in January. So her progress over the summer, I would say, is going to be measured, month to month, not really week to week right now. Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just be, just be patient. You never want to rush an athlete back from injury. That's how they get re-injured, either re-injure the same thing or, unfortunately, sometimes the injury is worse. So, Marta, take your time, get back, get healthy physically, mentally, and we want you on the court when you're ready to give 110% and bring the game that you brought in the beginning.
And Renee wanted a reminder that we had Sierra Burdick on here, and she was talking about the playerstrunk.com, and her site, it is live now. Sierra she had some warm-ups there and some Tennessee stuff, some WNBA stuff. Have you, Alexis, I know you're bound to have stuff
I don't know.
All kinds. Have you thought about doing something with the playerstrunk.com?
Maria, I don't know where half of my stuff is. Maybe even 3/4 of it, to be honest. I'd have to find it, see what is really of value. Just because I've been here, I've been there, and I haven't really been settled with the intention of actually staying and making a place like our home until we got here. So I'll look for it. I have my parents look for it, but I don't know.
I mean, like game-worn shoes, warm-ups, T-shirt. I mean, some of this stuff is going for $100, $200 each. So
I don't know.
Yeah, you may want to
royalties off of that or no?
I would imagine it's like a like if they're the hosting site for it, they process all the payments and it's up. I would imagine you would have something where they get a percentage. But I mean, you chat with Sierra, see what the terms are, because it's got to be like on consignment kind of thing. When it sells, we get a percentage, and then we deposit money in your account. But that could be an easy way to make a few coins.
Yeah, honestly, it could be. I'll look into it. I'll definitely hit her up. Oh, Karen Vogel said, "What's the latest on Big Nick?" Maria, I'll let you answer that question.
Yeah, I was talking to her last night, and I'm gonna update a social media post today, because let me grab, first of all, I want to grab the GoFundMe, because that is still a big need with everything going on. So I'm gonna put that in here first, so everybody who hasn't seen it can see it. If you anything you can still do to help is fantastic. Mez was I'm going to show a picture of Mez. She sent me these. Mez has been able to go home. He was the bigger twin. You could see from the photos. So there's Mez. I mean, just how precious.
I know.
Is that? So that's the twin that the ones who was like his legs were hanging over the little baby seat. He was
hey, he long. He about to come up out that onesie right now.
Yeah, he is. He's doing well. He's been released from the hospital. Now Chelucci had to have that stomach surgery, and he got through that, but he's had some setbacks and things. Things were getting pretty tense there for a while. He's doing better now, but he's going to be in what they call NICU. Here's our little boy.
Aww.
Little boy Chelucci, and you can see there's a scar on his stomach, so you can see it sort of below where he had to have stomach surgery, and you can see he's got a feeding tube, which will help him get bigger and get more nutrients and be able to get more food in his system. But he's had some rough spots. He's going to be there probably at least through the month of July, and Nikki now is having to go back and forth.
Right.
So she's got to be home with one son, and fortunately her husband's here, and then she gets to go visit with him. So you can definitely see what one of the twins who they told her this is a high risk pregnancy, and one of your babies was not doing well, and Big Nick, of course, decided that I am going to save both boys. So that is the update on Big Nick. I was texting her last night. I mean, she sounds tired.
Right.
I mean, she's been through this has been going on since late March. And I mean, so much has changed in her life. And then she was in the hospital over 3 months, couldn't work. So once again, if you can help with that GoFundMe, I put the link in here. Please do so. There is still a great need to help her, not only with medical bills, but everything that needs help. I mean, diapers and stuff for the babies. It's just, I can't even imagine. It's expensive enough for me to take care of cats and dogs. I cannot imagine trying to keep up with that. So, but Big Nicky's strong. And she even said Chelucci's a fighter. He is a fighter, and I said, well, what do you expect? So.
Right. And she also, you mentioned her husband there to help you. Kelly Kane is back in town. Also, helping Nikki and her husband out so that they are actually able to go to the hospital and spend, an adequate amount of time with both babies.
That's fantastic. Kelly Kane, I mean, talk about rising to the occasion and then some. I know y'all had her on Collective Unfiltered. It was good to hear from her.
Yeah.
Monday night. That was a great show.
That was a great show. I'm glad she joined us, checked in with us for a little bit. I'm happy to see her. I'm excited and honored to be working with her and training her this week before she, go work at camp and possibly end up in Bulgaria. So that's been fun for me this week.
Did you see Jessica's question? And Alexis, how was the energy of the new assistant coaches at practice? I guess that would be Joy and Samantha.
Samantha, correct. Yeah, they're high energy coaches. They seem to know what they're doing. I'm excited. From my understanding, obviously they're both very, very knowledgeable. One is kind of young and up and coming coach. The other one is a well-seasoned coach. But you can hear it even, Coach Samantha just really big on details, but they have fun in practice, but there's a little bit of, discipline and sternness added in. But shoot, I'd like to see 10 times more from every coach. Get these girls on edge. But yeah, I was excited for how they handled the workout that I saw. But I'm excited to see how it moves forward because, they're still trying to adjust too. What can I do? What can I not do? How do these players react? What's the best way to coach this team or teach this team or the post or the guards, whatever it might be. So even for them, there's going to be that learning curve and there's going to be that necessary need for patience to make till the pieces fit exactly how they're supposed to.
That's a good point. Because when you would have watched them, they would have been on campus with these players for about 10 days.
Yep.
I mean, that's barely time. I mean, I know they met with the players very briefly after they got hired,
right? But
that was towards the end of the season. Players are going into shutdown mode for exams and going home. So there's a lot that both sides have got to get to know each other. I have heard some good things about the returning players wanting to do shooting group and the newcomers doing shooting groups on their own, which I always want to hear. If you're physically able, are you getting in the gym?
Oh yeah. And I see Ray Burrell at B Mays. Bobby Mays is training her from time to time on off days or days where they might not have weights. I know some of the other girls have also the Jordans and some of the other girls have been also getting in the gym a little extra. That's what I like to see. I'm like you, Maria. That's where it really counts. That's where the difference is made. That's where the confidence can kind of be built into your game before you even hit preseason practices and the start of actual season.
Karen wanted to know how Emily's looking in practice. I can't say, of course, like you said, it's a limited session. This is not 2 hours up and down the court and practice the next day. I mean, these are very individualized and drill oriented, I would assume.
Yeah, it was a lot of drill work, a lot of position work, 5-on-0, just getting shots up really and moving. And did they run play? Yeah, they ran a few plays on the 5-on-0. And I mean, everybody, to me, I'm just going to be honest, everybody kind of looked the same or what you expect from a first workout. Rusty. Nobody was like, oh my gosh, they're already ready. Nobody to me stood out like that yet. Now, when it comes to like our bigs and our posts, we were missing a lot of open layups. Without defense. So obviously we got to clean that up. We had a lot of unnecessary unforced turnovers. But that comes with continuity. That comes because if you're going, I'm the type of player that's going to try something, especially early, summer, preseason, especially, until Pat basically yells at me and tells me don't ever do that again. Mm-hmm. So I saw some of that. So those turnovers I get excited about because once they get more time together, that's be a nice little play or a nice little pass, or I see what you're looking for. So I definitely saw a lot of great things. But to answer your question, Karen, nobody just stood out.
And I would imagine if you watch them again in August, September, it's going to be a lot different. I mean, right now, there's 5 new players on the court. That one's a graduate transfer, 4 are true freshmen. All of that takes time.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna start practicing with them, working out with them every once in a while too. So I'm coming in there, talk smack, get a little physical, do all that good stuff, but also talk to them, in between the drills while I'm around, before or after practice, because that's what my big lady ball sisters did for me.
Yeah, you gotta have a balance there. I mean, get on them, but be a sounding board. But I mean that was missing last summer because nobody could be in the gym. Heck, the players barely had contact in practice.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Lady ball fans, be patient, but be optimistic. I think we did exceptionally well for a COVID year last year. And obviously Coach Kelly is building a program. So I think we did pretty decent for that second year and it being a COVID year.
I'm glad to hear you say that because I'm always telling people we pump the brakes on all this. Oh, we're going to be awesome. We're going to do this. Pump the brakes. Give people and the players time.
Right.
I'm never the hype. I'll be the terrible, what they call the hype man. I'd be awful because tone it down. This is, give them time. So, like Credence said, layups are why we lost to University of Michigan, and rebounding and transition defense and
not getting stops and not communicating and turnovers and
the turnovers against Michigan were far more. They were all brutal. Missed layups always, upset everybody, but turnovers will kill you, absolutely kill you, particularly when they lead to a transition basket.
Oh yeah, you got to take care of that basketball for sure. But Maria, before we continue to go any further and begin to get to the back half of our show and start to close it down, let us go ahead and thank our sponsors one more time. We have shout out to Alexis Hornbuckle Basketball, where you can get all of your basketball training needs. You can go get information, see what I got going on, or contact me on alexishornbuckle.com. We also have our very own Volunteer Roadshow co-host, Jamel Johnson, the gold standard fitness and sports performance training, who is also in a competition. Please go vote for her. It's Miss Health and Fitness. I know Maria's about to drop that in the link. Go vote. You can do a free voting, one free vote a day, or they have what you call a warrior vote, where you can, donate a certain amount of money and it will give you a certain amount of votes. Make sure you do that. We also have Just Pass It Tutoring, Learning Made Simple. Our guy Nelson Garcia, based out of Miami, Florida, but also has a virtual presence. If you need help with your K through 12 mathematical needs or ACT, SAT, and PSAT prep, please go to Just Pass It Tutoring. And last but not least, Orange Mountain Design. Shout out Terry Holder and everything that she does for the lady ball community and for our very own Pat Summit. Go check her out at orangemountaindesigns.com, where you can get your lady ball gear, the official logo, the official colors, and it doesn't get much better than that, y'all.
And one quick thing about Jamel, I just saw it shortly before coming in here. She made the top 15 and then next cut it to a top 10. So she really needs people to vote now. So the link is in there. Share it with everybody you know, and get that pumping for Jamel.
Yes.
Denise wanted to know, has anyone heard anything about how Renaya Davis's rehab is going in Minnesota? The only way I've been able to keep up with it is social media. She clearly had surgery over in the last several days because she's posted some videos of her on the couch with her foot in a cast up, and a couple of them she sounded groggy a little bit. So, there's no surgery is fun. Foot surgery to me seems especially bad because your mobility. I don't know. I've never had a surgery beyond, invasive kind of surgery to go cut something out. I've never come out of surgery with a cast on, so I don't have any experience with dealing with a cast.
Yeah, I do. It's no fun. It's no fun. It's a process, obviously, depending on your surgery, but you have, your initial surgery, you come out, you get that done, boom. They kind of let it heal. Then they put you in a cast like a day or two later, depending on what surgery you have. That hard cast has to stay on for a matter of weeks. that's itching, your wrist or your foot is shrinking and smelling terrible. And then you, depending on how bad the break is or what surgery you've had, you may get that cut off and get another hard cast put on, or you come out of that and get some type of splint or soft cast or boot or whatever. It's a process that you can't rush, and it's crazy. The foot is like, obviously you need your feet. You got to play defense. That's your elevation. That's your balance. That's your lateral movement. So take your time, Renaya. Take your time. Get healthy. We're praying for you, and we're wishing for a speedy recovery.
Yeah, she's out for the season, so there's no rush. There's no hurry. You got to get back. She needs to get well. Absolutely. While you were gone last week, obviously we talked about recruiting. Well, we won't talk specifics today. I'll just say that, my goodness, they keep bringing in the recruits in all these classes. They've been flooding into Knoxville in June, so the recruiting is going well, which is very good to see. We also talked about the schedule. Credence asked about the schedule, our season tickets. Credence specifically asked about season tickets, and I said, they usually come out for season ticket holders at least by August, and single season tickets on sale in September or October. And boom, the next day, here comes the announcement that TBA will be at full capacity, and they're taking season ticket holder applications now, and you can get tickets, and people who had them before can get back to their old seats. So did you see that? What was your reaction to that we would actually be back in the arena, like the band and all the hoopla and all the fans and everything?
That was my reaction. Yes. Let's go. Let's bring out the heat, people. Fill the seats. Men and women, come fill the seats. We need to get back to having the biggest, loudest, most supportive, craziest, best crowd in the NCAA, in America, okay? That's what I want to see from Lady Ball fans. There's no excuse now. There's absolutely no excuse.
Yeah, Credence is laughing. I was like, dang, we were talking about that yesterday. So, yeah, this show is pretty good at I think it'll be soon by summer, and then boom, here we are. Okay.
Right.
Trish said she has my old seats back. I think a lot of people are going to be happy to be back where they were. Definitely not spread out. But we also talked about the schedule and what we knew. We don't have a schedule yet, but we do know of some games. Obviously, Texas is coming here. Stanford is coming here. And those are all, as you know, in December. That's going to be. Stanford's the defending national champion. That's going to be one heck of a game. UConn, they will go there. I also noticed that in the release they put out South Florida. That's a really good program. They're going to play South Florida at home. And then, of course, we know the SEC schedule. Right. We also talked about Ray Burrell. This is her senior year. If you're going to do a homecoming game, which is going to happen, it's going to have to be this year. And what I was spitballing. That was a word I kept using last week. I think you could see Tennessee, which makes the most sense to me, is in a tournament, Thanksgiving tournament, because they have those showcase Thanksgiving tournaments in Las Vegas over Thanksgiving holiday. So I'm hoping that's the format. One, you don't have to get to a home and home with a team.
Right.
Yeah, and you may have a chance to play at least 2 games. Usually you get a 2-game guarantee at those events. So if you're thinking about Vegas at Thanksgiving, there's your chance.
Hey, are y'all listening? Anybody that worked for UT Lady Vols, are y'all listening? Maria has the best plan. I'm coming. Sandra and I are coming.
I've never been to Las Vegas. I don't. Have you ever been there? I assume you have. I have not.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas quite a few times. I love it. I can't be there too long though, but I love it.
Yeah, it's I get sensory overload. And one time I walked into a casino, it was in New Orleans when Tennessee, when you were there as a signee about to be a freshman.
At Final Four, yep.
And I walked in, and I thought I was going to have like a seizure of some kind with all the noise. And then I saw that beer was like 75 cents or $1. And I'm like, oh, I'm good.
All you gotta do is go sit at a penny machine, enter 1 coin, you get free drinks for the entire time you're on that floor gambling.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So we talked about the schedule a lot. The other big topic And it shows that when the NCAA is forced to do something, suddenly it could do something. Name, image, and likeness starts tomorrow. I mean, we knew it was coming, but it starts July 1st.
Nice.
I mean, how much would you have loved to have had that? I mean, how much do you think y'all could have monetized some of the things you were doing?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's basically like, starting your own business early, building your own brand. Number one, I'm glad that they have the opportunity to do that now. But that would have been just something. I mean, you put in all these hours, you're on the classroom, you're in the classroom, you're on the court, you're putting in all these hours, your body's going through everything, get the banging, the pounding, right? And every time you get hurt, injured, or anything happens, all you're thinking about is playing. So knowing that you're giving your all, it'd have been great to know that you were appreciated. And if you're handling your business and you're continuing to grow the game, your teammates, then obviously by default, that's going to up your likeness, right? Your name and likeness. So that would have been dope. I think it gives incentive. It makes you play a little bit harder. It's like basically being a mini pro before you're a professional. Let's call it a semi-low pro before professional. And I would have took full advantage. Pat might have had to kick me out. Pass the ball, Hornbuckle. Nope.
I mean, it's not just going to be the major sports. I mean, softball. Odyssey, Alexander, Montana Fouts during the College World Series, their Instagram followers they went up like 50,000.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you could monetize that.
Yeah.
And you should be able to. YouTube channel. Like, what if, Odyssey wanted to do pitching tutorials?
Right.
On YouTube. I mean, there is just so many. Now, I haven't seen the details about logo or venue. I don't know any of those details yet. Because, there's going to be restrictions on when, where, can you be wearing the official Lady Vol logo? I don't know. All of those details, a lot of the schools are working out. But as of tomorrow, if you are a student athlete, you can finally do things to profit or make money off your name, image, and likeness. And it's about time.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Shout out to the NCAA for doing something for the players.
I will be. They didn't do it willingly.
Of course not.
No.
That's why that shout out is so important, because they were forced. But I'm glad they did it, because they didn't have to. At the end of the day, they still could have been pulling teeth and drawing it out.
They could have tried to drag it out, and But a lot of states passed legislation, which also goes into effect July 1st. So there was going to be states with competing where they're allowing it in their state. And so the NCAA did have to move quickly. Credence pointed out Cassie has a YouTube channel.
That's awesome.
And under this rule, she probably could have monetized that in college, which she
do I have another year of eligibility or no?
We'll find one. At least some games.
I might have to be reinvented,
Warren said, Maria, what do you think of, and I'll let you answer this too, because you probably watch, of Andrea Carter's ability to break down the game, both NBA and the college game?
I'm going to let you do that. I have not had time to watch WNBA games. I barely make it through the men's, the NBA playoff games. I got a lot on my plate lately.
She does an incredible job. I mean, she's one of those people, if you're channel surfing and she's calling the game, I used to feel that way when Kara Lawson called games. I'll just stop and listen, because she's so insightful. She does a lot of breakdowns of plays, freeze frame with the arrows and talking about screens, a lot of stuff you were talking about doing of educating people.
Yeah.
And she puts so much into it. But now part of it, you can't comment about this. Part of it, everybody that really makes me pause and listen, they're point guards. There's just something about point guards in terms of breaking down the game.
Natural leadership, our basketball. I feel like point guards have the hardest position in basketball, because you have to know where everybody goes. You have to know how the offense works. But the hardest part is actually knowing exactly what the coach wants and being an extension of the floor. So that means you have to be able to read the game. I think that's why it's easier for them to call the game, because it's like, oh, I'm not in the game. I'm just sitting back and reading and telling you about the game. Oh, yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, I mean, I love when she breaks down plays and like, she's all right, freeze it. And then she'll show where a player rotated incorrectly or hedged wrong or closed out too late. And
oh, yeah.
I mean, she teaches you things, like how did that player get wide open? Well, you see what happened. Or, she explains everything you talked about doing, for fans, because fans don't understand that at what they call such an organic level. We see a made shot or a blown defensive play, but we don't know exactly how it happened. I mean, right. a great example, you were there, the Connecticut game.
Mm-hmm.
Three-point shooter never should have been that open. That was a defensive breakdown on that play. Somebody got over there late. It was actually a communication issue. And Jordan Horston, who had the other side of the court on lockdown, she had, I think it was Avina with the ball, came like this close to a steal. I mean, just like, so close to getting that. It just shows you how one moment, one misstep, one mental breakdown, it's the difference in winning and losing the game.
Man, that's what it takes. And I hope we have a little mental breakdown, a lot of communication, and a lot of hustle play. If we can just do that on a regular, taking care of the basketball, rebounding the basketball, hustle plays, getting the 50-50 balls, and limiting our mistakes.
Denise said that NCAA failed women's basketball, volleyball, softball with horrible tournament setups. Yeah, hard to disagree with that. I found out softball stadium there in Oklahoma City doesn't even have showers for the players.
Who doesn't?
The softball stadium does not even have shower facilities for the play. And some of these teams, if you're in the losers bracket, you got to stay there. You got to, you got to wait for the next game.
How you?
In 98-degree weather in Oklahoma City.
Maria, how do you host a major sporting event and don't have showers for the players in the locker room?
I don't know. And the contract's been extended through 2035. And I'm like, come on. You better have some freaking showers built by 2022. By
like the end of this year. What do you mean? I bet they better not see 22 come before they get showers. Get those showers. Y'all stop being cheap, man. Take care of the athletes. Get you some showers.
I can't imagine sitting in a softball uniform for like 2 or 3 hours and having to get, you're soaked and you'll put on like a fresh jersey or something, but you can't shower in between waiting on those games. I would be a very cranky person at that point.
That's nasty.
That is very, very nasty.
Yeah, that's incentive.
Denise pointed out no batting cages either. So you can't even get any swings in while you're waiting. Come on.
That's crazy. Come on, NCAA. Come on, hosting sites. Come on now.
We got to do better. And that, that's like the men's college World Series. It's in one place, Omaha, Nebraska.
Right.
The town embraces it, and then Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Right. And
they did add on to the stadium. They made it bigger. They did some upgrades, but as soon as I heard they don't even have showers, I'm like, oh, come on. No, I didn't know they didn't have batting cages either.
That's ridiculous.
And particularly with the men's setup, of course, is much nicer. Showers, locker room facilities. It's just stop this. We're all of us women. We're tired of it. We're absolutely tired of it.
Listen, it's just blatant and disrespectful. Like they don't even try to finesse it or hide it. It's just like, no, we're not gonna do that.
And it kind of took this pandemic, particularly with basketball being in one location for men and women, for everybody to finally see it. Because and social media, I mean, these kids know how to use social media. They have grown up on it. It is not an unusual way for them to live their lives. So you can't keep things quiet anymore.
No, and that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
You have to face whatever it is that you trying to do or not do, and the unfairness, in all aspects of everything that's happening around the world, not only just sports. And that's the one thing that I do like about the pressure of social media, because it can produce positive changes.
Karen asks, is Kelly going to do her YouTube series again? I don't know if you're meaning the golf cart karaoke. I don't know. Obviously, with COVID, that got a pause. But I would love to see Kelly bring back golf cart karaoke if she can. Kelly's got a lot on her plate right now.
Oh my gosh, I saw her the other day at the office. All the coaches were in the office doing recruiting calls and whatnot, and watching film and highlights. And yeah, they're busy, guys. They're busy. I don't foresee that happening right now at all.
Yeah, the golf cart series was great, but yeah, it's the recruiting, and like I said, we won't talk specific ones, but they are getting in early, getting contact made, they're just doing so far for two coaches who have been there barely over a month. I don't even know if either one's had time to get settled yet and still not living out of a suitcase. Obviously, what happens next, they're getting ready to go on the road.
Right.
There's tournament. Isn't B-Mays Elite? Aren't they in a tournament here?
They're in the UAA, in the circuit. They're actually only playing 2 tournaments. The girls, 16U, they're playing only the 2 UAA tournaments, but the coaches will be there.
Particularly, I think it starts tomorrow or second July, 1st through 3rd, or
something like that. Well, I know like the events are like June 5th through 8th are live period tournaments, June 10th through 12th. There's like a week or something where it's like a dead period, or 4 days or something where it's not a live period, and then it's a live period again. You can do exposure events, but you can't have coaches there. And then I know the end of July, like the 22nd through something.
Kathy wanted to know, was the basketball tourney discrepancy the same when you played? I think part of the difference would be that there were host sites.
Yeah.
And the schools took care of that. So you would have seen, decent food and locker rooms, I assume.
Right.
But as you look back now, do you see things that maybe, or have you heard things where maybe the discrepancies in how the men were treated and the women were treated?
I have not. I think it'd be interesting to kind of go back and ask some of my fellow guy athletes that played during my time. And for me, no, it was host sites. I had a blast everywhere we went. I don't know. I don't have any complaints about it, but I also don't know what the men's, the NCAA men's were doing for their basketball. But I can definitely go ask, because I'm pretty sure it was a lot better than what we were getting.
Particularly the swag bags, probably that. And you guys, when you played, you were always a high seed. So the mid-level, lower seeds can sometimes get a worse setup, but you guys usually were going in as the highest seed.
Yeah.
In your region, sub-regional and regional. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I love the fact that we got to host most of the time. That was awesome. We didn't have to go anywhere. It takes that stress off of missing class and the travel and all of that good stuff. You're in a very friendly home environment you're used to, and you're just coming to another home game.
Of course, in the first rounds, that's when the NCAA was still flinging Tennessee all over the place. Yeah, I remember y'all started at Pittsburgh one time, and you started at Purdue. Both of those were the national championship years. Yep.
So they did sling us a little bit, but a lot of the second rounds we hosted, and I don't know. It's just, it was easy. I don't know. I was just having this conversation. I didn't feel like we traveled that much.
Y'all did in the NCAA tourney, because that was when the NCAA went back to try to go back to neutral sites
okay. Yeah,
or
that's how I'm really not paying attention to.
Actually, you still had to bid on first and second rounds, and you couldn't bid more than like 2 years in a row. So you guys ended up going to Pittsburgh, playing Pittsburgh on their home floor in the second round, and then you went to Purdue and played Purdue.
I remember that round.
As a 1 seed, you guys were having to do that.
Yeah, that's what you're here for, to correct my memories or lack thereof.
That's okay. Part of it too is that, you guys were so well taken care of. All you had to do was, get on the bus and get to the airport. And when you're in media, you got to figure out where you're going. So
Right.
We'll wrap up here in just a second. Credence wanted to know, will first round games in the tourney come back this year? Yes, Tennessee would need to be a top 16 seed, but absolutely they went back because of attendance and cost to having college teams, the higher seed host in the top. If you're a 1 through 4 seed, you will host those early round games. Last thing I want to ask you, Alexis, obviously Monday was a tough day. I mean, that's 5 years since Pat passed. You said something on Collective Unfiltered I want you to talk about, and then we'll wrap this up, that you were having a real downtime recently. And you got in the car, and what did you do?
I got in the car, I drove to campus, which isn't far, and I parked the car and I walked to Pat's statue, and I just sat and talked to Coach. And I'm not going to lie, I just felt so much more relief and just lighter, because I truly believe that the person that Coach Summit was, it was almost an angelic person. I'm not saying that she was perfect, but I definitely think that she was heaven sent. I think that she was extremely blessed, and she was an angel, to many of us. And so, I'm talking to her and praying at the same time. And it's just like, you hear Coach, those life lessons, those little remarks that kind of bothered you, but you knew she was right. All of those things, that reassurance of you can handle anything. And I went back home and slept like a baby.
I went to a Smokies game, right when, June is a tough month. It's her birthday, then the anniversary of her death. And I get there early and was, sipping my beer, and nobody's hardly there yet. And I look down, and there is the shiniest, brightest penny, heads up, under my seat. So, of course, I jump up, get the penny. I'm like, somebody dropped change. There can't be just one penny down here in my seat in this huge section. So I was looking up and down the rows. There were no other pennies, no other coins. So I'm like, all right, Pat, you're hanging out. I appreciate that. Appreciate a little memory of Pat. So, of course, that penny came home with me. It's in my house now.
I love it. I love it.
Well, please take care of our sponsors. Alexis Hornbuckle Basketball. We don't have to put images up. I'll do them. OrangeMountainDesigns.com. Just pass it. Academic tutoring and performance training by Jamel Johnson. Blue Water Climate Control. I'm now a client. They are wonderful. You go online. You set up your appointment. They come. Great work. It's a fantastic company. So please support all of those sponsors. Alexis, take us out of here.
Absolutely. We thank y'all for tuning in and supporting the Buck and 2MC show, your favorite show and favorite place to be, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. here on the Volunteer Roadshow. Whether you watched us on Instagram, I always say that. I tell Bobby we need to get to Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, volunteerroadshow.com, or Facebook. Press that like button, press the share button, and continue to support us. Until next time, we love you, and go Lady Vols.
Peace.